just coming in under 100 pounds of weight capacity. In today's video, we're looking at the Flexispot UD5B-OFF standing desk. What's a standing desk? It's a desk that adjusts in height so that you can actually work standing up as opposed to always sitting down. With the lid off, we see a lot of foam and cardboard, a lot of just packing material in here. Of course, you know, you're shipping a lot of weight, so it's got to be protected, and they do a really good job with that. With everything separated, we have the desktop, which is upside down at the moment, but you can see that it has a built-in drawer and motor and rail. The rest of the components include 2 support rails that are going to be attached to the feet, a manual, a programmable box that will allow you to preset 4 different heights and also manually adjust the desk up and down, power cord, power adapter, some connecting straps, and all sorts of fasteners and tools that you'll need to put it together. To begin assembly, we're going to start off on the narrow side of the table. You'll see that there is a piece of plastic, and it has 2 rails on it. There are 4 screw holes, and our support rise column, the column that actually is going to go up and down, is going to fit in there. It has a shaft on it. That shaft is going to align with this hole, and we're going to use the B screws and the D tool to attach that. And then we're going to do the same thing for the rail at the other end. Make sure that when you put this down, that the wide end of the rail is parallel to the narrow end of the table. Here's our leg sitting on its support. So we're going to put in our B screws there, and over here. And using the D key, we're going to tighten those down. And remember what I said, this long part, this is the narrow part of this leg, this long part is going to go alongside the narrow side of this table. Here's the completed installation of the first leg. You see all 4 fasteners attached. We come over to the other side. Here's the motor, the drive motor. There's a cable. You'll want to move this cable just out of the way because you're going to need to land this other leg here. And as long as you have the long side along the narrow side of the table, there's no left or right to this leg. It just drops into that hole. I'm going to see if I can just show you that here. And these legs are kind of heavy, so be careful that you don't end up damaging the finish of the wood by not being careful. And if it doesn't go right in, you may have to turn it just a little bit until it catches with the receiving shaft on the inside. And now we're ready to add our fasteners. I had to remove the leg when I realized that this piece of wire was getting caught, and there's a connector on the end of it, so just move that out of the way. You don't want any wires in between where you're going to mount this leg, otherwise they're going to get pinched and possibly severed. So at this point we should have both lifting columns installed and fastened, and now we're going to go for the foot or the feet. They have little plastic floor protectors on them. Make sure they're spun all the way on. You'll notice that there are 4 holes on both sides of it, but only on one end. So the end with the 4 holes, you're going to go to the top of your support leg, and it's going to go right above it and you're going to put 4 fasteners in there, and that is this fastener, the D. You'll find this in your hardware bag. So there are 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there's really no guide to help you, so you're just going to have to look through the hole opening to align them. Just make sure that these are facing up. With one of the fasteners in, this is what it's going to start to look like. The long end is towards where the drawer knobs are facing. That'll provide the proper support. So we have to add 3 more fasteners to this and make sure they're tight. When completed, it should look like this. Again, it's facing towards the front for the drawer pulls. Now we have one more to do, and here's just a little tip for you. If you drop the screw into the leg, by dropping that fastener onto that foot, you can visually just align, and then you start screwing that in, and then that'll help you get the other 3 into alignment. And make sure that when you finish tightening this one down, that you check the other ones, because this metal may flex a little bit, so the one that was previously tight may be slightly loose. So, oh, and by the way, this is the E key, if I didn't mention that earlier. So we switched keys from the key that we were using to attach those fasteners. Now we should have 3 remaining screws from the A section of your hardware kit. And we're going to take the panel and we're going to attach that to the desk. Now there's a plate and it has 1, 2, 3 screw holes. And this happens to have 3 screw holes. And when you turn it over or upside down in reference to what we're doing right now, those 3 holes should line up. You should be able to use these 3 screws along with the Phillips end of your E-tool to tighten those down. After some effort, I was only able to connect these 2 screws. This one, while it dropped in, didn't reach, and that's due to the fact that this module rides up on this lip here, and so the screw is not long enough for it to catch here. So it's only being held in place by these 2 back screws. Now this is where the instructions fall really short and they don't help you out much with the wiring. Here's the motor. We want to take the cable that comes off the motor, and it actually only fits in one place. So you just insert it and that's done. Then there's this USB box that comes over here. That has a cable on it, and that can only go in one place. So you plug that there. Now that leaves you with a power supply, which gets plugged into this cable. So one end's going to go to an outlet. This end's going to go into the power supply. Coming out of this power supply, we have this cable remaining. And if you look here, you'll see that there's a pin and a slot, and that just happens to mate right in there. There's a cover that moves out of the way, so you mate them, and then this locks it in place. And the other end of this cable goes into the remaining slot, which is called DC in. Electrically, when everything's connected, you should have your plug. It feeds into the power adapter. The power adapter connects to the little adapter that clamps into place. That goes into DC. Then you have the USB wire coming, and then you have a wire coming from the motor, which I wrapped underneath the motor so it doesn't hang down. So you say to yourself, what am I going to do with this big box? It's a short cable and it doesn't reach all the way to the floor. Well, lucky for us, they left a little hoop and loop there and on the bottom of the adapter, so you should be able to just to stick that there. You hear that? So you stick that there, and now all you have to worry about is getting this cable to a power source. And they gave you a couple of cable ties if you need to tidy that up. Of the 4 cable ties, I only managed to use one, and that was just to hold the motor cable in place and also the wire that comes off the adapter. Just brought it there so that when that wire drapes off, it's draping off the back and hopefully close to an outlet. So now it's time to just do a quick check. Make sure, like the feet are fully down, because you may need to adjust depending on how uneven your floor is, but want them all settled down. Check your connections, make sure they're snug and they haven't loosened up on you. Do the same here. Double check all your connections, that everything's plugged in, that it's as neat as you'd like it. I didn't see a need to tie any of this stuff together because it's really short, and it's, this is kind of being held in place by these wires, which are fairly short. So as long as that doesn't fall out, which it shouldn't because that's a very nice piece of hoop and loop there, we should be fine. Having spent several days with the Flexispot standing desk, I like its ability to go from 30 inches all the way up to 49 inches. That's measuring from the floor to the top of the MDF desktop. The controls are easy to program. You get a choice of 4 that you can program. And of course, you can override it with a manual down and up. It has a pull drawer, which is a little stiff to pull, but I do like the fact that when you go to close it, it will dampen and close itself at the very end. Not a big fan of the knobs, but that's part of this, what I would think is more of an executive look. It has this nice trim work on the front, on the sides. It has the ability to plug in USB connectors so that you can charge devices. There are 2 of the older fashioned USBs and then the new C. This, I would think, is an indicator light, but it has never come on. So I don't know if that's a fail on their end or just the way it works or doesn't work. Anyway, you have this trim on both ends. It's sort of beveled all around. And again, this is MDF, but it's very smooth and clean cut. All corners are rounded. There's no harshness, not even on the underside where people tend not to finish a product. The motor is very smooth. The platform itself is very stable. When you take it up to the full height, it gets a little wobbly, but it's way up here. So for me, I'm 5'8", it would be almost up to neck level, which is a bit too tall. So I find it very stable. I will probably swap out these knobs for a look, but I want something a bit more modern. So that's just a personal preference, and you can swap these out if you'd like. Overall, I am pleased with the performance of the unit. It comes with a 5-year warranty on the frame and motor, and you get 2 years on the electronics that operate it. If you found this video interesting or useful, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, join the subscription team, and as always, thank you ever so much for watching.